Hello, my name's Holly Mackay and I'm Managing Director of the Platforum. I'm going to take a few minutes today to talk to you about the platform market. I'd like to give you an update on some recent news and developments. I want to touch briefly on due diligence, and then I'm going to leave you with some thoughts about where I think things are headed. Okay, well, let's start with a look back at recent news. I don't think you can look at this quarter without pointing to the fact that Scandia hit the 40 billion milestone. In absolute terms, it doesn't represent particularly significant growth for them, but I think as a milestone, it's really significant. It's a coming of age. This is a serious scale business now. If you look at Fidelity, they hit 37 billion at the end of June. And what we saw this quarter was a sort of managerial shuffle. So they more clearly said, here's the D2C section of the business, here's the advisor section of the business, and here's the corporate market, our DC business. Now, if you look at the potential for growth in the D2C side and the pension side, I think we'll see some real scale develop with Fidelity over the coming 12 months. Also really important for IFAs, I think, is the price change they announced. It's a flat £45 per annum fee. Obviously, there's rebates as well. But that makes them so price competitive for a particular kind of client. In technical terms, it's what I'd call almost a no-brainer for a particular type of client. So really sort of shaking things up there on the competitive front. Co-funds, 5 billion in gross sales for the first 6 months of the year. Really significant growth there. So I think we see the top three really gearing up for bigger things over the next 12 months. Interestingly, co-funds very recently announced a tie-up with SEI to provide the mutual fund processing for SEI's business here in the UK. I think that's a really smart example of collaboration between two groups. Quite often egos get in the way of a group such as SEI outsourcing the mutual fund processing piece, but I think it's a clear example of good sense for co-funds and good sense for SEI. Now, it's not just been the big guys doing stuff this quarter. Really sort of congratulations to David Ferguson and the whole team at Nucleus, who announced they've hit 3 billion this quarter. A great achievement. I remember when they set the business up from scratch, so well done to you guys. Eccentric also announced they've hit profitability, a really important milestone for that business. We've also seen a new entrant come to market. Andy Bell's SIP Centre have added GIA and ISA capability to the SIP, so they're now in the platform race. And they're an interesting kind of hybrid. I think of them as an investment supermarket. They've got a broader range of offering than just mutual funds, but the charging structure is more akin to that of a supermarket. So I think they'll make some inroads. You can't really move at the moment for hearing a lot of noise in the press about due diligence, and I think to some degree it's been overdone by some market commentators. It is really important for IFAs to choose a platform that's best for them and their clients, most importantly. But the FSA have been really clear about what it is they expect to see from IFAs. The thematic review, which is by far and away the most important document on platforms for IFAs to come out of the FSA, it tells IFAs where the FSA's 9 speed cameras are. They're very clear in what they want you to look at. There's a video on our homepage for anyone that wants a bit more information around platform selection and due diligence. I think, though, IFAs don't need to write War and Peace about this. I think the FSA are okay that you just stay abreast of the news, keep up to date with developments, and periodically, whether it's 6 monthly or annually, just write down your thought processes and show that the platform you have chosen is the best for your clients and your practice. It's price competitive, it gives clients access to the investments they need, and the service is up to your expectations and your client expectations. It doesn't have to be over-engineered. I'd like to take just a final few minutes to look at the future and where I see things headed. Pershing have come to the market this quarter with a revised offering for I think suitable for larger IFA firms who want a bit more flexibility around perhaps listed securities and a broader range of investment vehicles. Aegon have also announced a tie-up with Novia, which I think is good news for both parties. Zurich, of course, building something on both the corporate wrap side and the advisor wrap side. Also Close Brothers. Now I think they're particularly interesting because they're looking at an advised platform, a D2C platform, but also a platform that can work with phone-based advice. And I'm really interested to see how that all pans out. Now Lloyds have come out this quarter and announced intentions to develop their execution-only offering, their direct customer offering. Typically when news like this comes out, you get a lot of angry bloggers out there. IFAs don't like it when they hear about banks. But I think competition can be good. An example I often think back to is that I think Transact were arguably the biggest beneficiary of ABBY's marketing spend when Wrap was first coming out in around 2003. Competition can be good, and I think in the advice space for the platforms, the D2C market could really regenerate some different thinking here. Why should we think about aggregation in life company terms? Why is it always about offshore bonds and SIPs? Why isn't it based really more in customer speak? What about current accounts, mortgages, insurance, ISAs? I think the banks have got a really good opportunity to develop something new here, and I hope they rise to the challenge. Finally, the RDR, what impact is it having on platform adoption? Well, really, there's still a polarised market. A lot of IFAs who have embraced platforms are using them more and more. It's not uncommon to talk to IFAs who are putting 80% of new business via platform. But there's still a big section of the community out there with their fingers still in their ears. Very recently, all the noise from the Treasury Select Committee suggesting we might delay the RDR. People have sort of seized onto that as a lifeline. Those sorts of advisors are not yet adopting platforms, and I don't think there's going to be any immediate catalyst for adoption until actually December 2012 hits, and there really is no other alternative for running business on an ongoing basis to support advisor charging and ongoing monitoring of clients' investments. So I think we will see continued adoption in the platform market, continued growth there, but perhaps not at the rate that people have predicted until after 2012.